favourite head up the arse moment, which is Anthony Joshua.
Who are you talking to, me or Sorry,
the PR department.
Sorry,
You're probably...
I was looking at you then.
You're probably snivelling around the WhatsApp group to find your information. Have we got an opponent for Anthony Joshua?
No,
is it in the offing?
No opponent, and I've been on the WhatsApp group, and there's no mention of it on there as well. But I have heard rumours circulating of maybe a possibility that he fights Tony Yoka,
I heard that, saw that, yeah.
Olympic gold medalist.
No.
Huh?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
No, it doesn't happen, or no, you don't want it?
No, I don't want it.
No.
So...
Where's the attraction in that?
For Anthony Joshua, right, let's do this.
No, don't you dare try and sell
let's do this.
Don't try and
let's do this.
And he turns around and looks
I think for Anthony Joshua, a warm-up fight before he goes in with... Because we know the Tyson Fury fight's going to happen 2026, but he has to stay active. You go Tony Yoka, both Olympic gold medalists, one 2012, one 2016. It's sort of commercially, you can sell that.
No.
Right.
Yeah, not to your hardcore boxing fan, but I'm thinking overall, I think it's a decent opponent. And I think it's a decent opportunity for both guys. Who would you put him in with next then?
Martin Bakole.
Martin Bakole?
Yeah, go for
But
it.
you think that's a dangerous fight?
Yeah, I do. And I think at this stage of AJ's career, what's
good
age?
shout.
34, 35?
Yeah, but that's a good shout.
I think AJ needs to know as much as we need to know. We need to know because we keep second guessing, and I think there's a run left in AJ, but AJ needs to know. I think if he blows Tony Yoka away, which I think he would absolutely will do, what do we know? We don't know. I think if you're trying to sell the Tyson Fury fight, not that it needs selling, if AJ were to blow Bakole out of the water, then, I mean, it's all systems go for Fury and it becomes the biggest thing since sliced bread. You beat Yoka, I just feel like...
So where do you go on this, Simon?
It's got to beat a name.
What do you think?
It's a good point.
Listen, I've always felt that at the time, and probably it wasn't the right advice, given it was something that might have been challenging for Anthony, was to go back in and fight Daniel Dubois. If he wanted to vanquish the challenges that he had in his mind and felt that his performance was so below where he needed to be for a variety of different reasons, then Dubois was the only thing that was going to exercise the demons. But I was going to ask you, Duke, about Anthony and what you think he's got left in the tank. How many fights you think he's got left in him? And should he be going anywhere near people like Jake Paul?
That's what they're talking about, isn't it?
With money, innit?
Yeah, I've been hearing this. Yeah,
Huge amount of money.
You know, back in the day, Muhammad Ali boxed a wrestler or
Andre the Giant. Was he going against Andre the Giant?
No.
It was Japanese guy.
Japanese guy, right? The wrestler guy, right? So...
How old was Ali, and was that Ali at the end of his tether, though?
Yeah, he was right at the end of his career.
Okay.
Right?
That's where we're at with AJ
Which is
right
exactly where we are with AJ. So this is like a repeat of history repeating itself in some ways. Should he fight a Jake Paul? I don't really know why that fight would come about.
Because
obviously for the financial gain, obviously. Yeah. But would Anthony Joshua fight Jake Paul? Because Jake Paul's not a boxer and he needs to fight a boxer.
Mate, because there's £100 million quid on the table.
I understand. From the financial.
We're not suggesting it's part of his rehabilitation process to get himself fit for a world title shot. We're suggesting that someone presents him with an opportunity that Jake Paul potentially provides. And I was speaking to one of his camp the other day and they were saying, we don't want him to do that, Anthony Joshua. It's legacy losing. No, it's not, because in 5 years' time,
nobody's going to remember.
And Anthony Joshua will have £200 million more in his bank balance. So if he wants to do that, do it.
AJ would seriously hurt Jake Paul.
Yeah,
like, seriously.
I'm sure he would.
No, in about a minute. But if he wanted to walk over to him in a minute.
Do you like the Tony Yoka fight, if that was to materialise? I'm just saying.
I'll take the lead.
I'll tell you why, because you could see Tony Yoka, Jake Paul,
would you want to answer
Fury,
it?
that's where it is.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I told you what I like. I told you what I wanted for Anthony Joshua.
What about Hrgovic if Hrgovic beats Adelaide?
Yeah, that's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
I like that.
Those type of names, I want to...
Yeah.
Do you think seriously in the back of his mind and in their camp that he's got bias, seller's regret about looking at Daniel, the performance that Daniel put up against Usyk, against the performances that he put up against Usyk, and the second fight he got closer to Usyk, didn't he, Anthony? Do you think he looks at the Dubois fights, and any of you can answer this question, all of you, and thinks, well, I can beat Dubois now as a result of what I just saw on Saturday night?
Does Anthony Joshua think he can beat Dubois as a result of what he's seen on Saturday night?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he does.
See, I disagree with that totally, mate.
Well,
Like,
Duke doesn't understand the purpose of this show. We are AJ fans and we're on this side.
I get that.
But AJ truly believed the first one, mate, but he just got caught heavyweight boxing, he got chinned, right? That doesn't mean that he couldn't reverse that if they went in again.
Yeah, but I think he's probably more fragile now, if that's the right word, AJ now.
Against the guy that put him down.
Against a guy that's already beaten him. You know,
Understood.
AJ, for me now, like say, maybe the Bacoli fight, that's a good shout, because he could probably... I see Anthony Joshua beating Bacoli to get his confidence
Especially a 300-pound Bacoli that moves...
to get his confidence
He won't be 300
back.
pounds if he fights Anthony Joshua.
Yeah,
he won't
to get his confidence back.
And then against a Jagba or against...
No, he'd be a lot slimmer.
Joseph Parker.
If he fought Bacoli, then by then maybe all the 4 belts become vacant, and then he fights somebody for a vacant title.
Can I ask you just out? I mean, maybe it's a relatively stupid question, but for the purpose of mentioning Anthony Joshua and getting the clicks that the producers desperately wants, do you think that the loss to Dubois in the manner that he lost was worse than any of his defeats that he's had previously? Because obviously we saw the meltdown against Usyk, and then we saw the situation with Ruiz. Because I think Ruiz was the lightning rod that set Anthony Joshua on a different pathway than he was destined to go on.
That was his worst defeat.
The Ruiz fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though he's gotten cleaned out by Daniel Dubois, he wasn't cleaned out by Ruiz, and
he was a favourite, like Mike Tyson was going in against Buster Douglas in that fight. He was a huge favourite against Ruiz, and I think that was a massive.
So despite the fact he got battered around a ring for 5 rounds in front of 90,000 people that were there to basically celebrate his real rival back on the throne, you think, or we think, that the most damaging defeat for Anthony Joshua was the first one to Ruiz.
Yes,
definitely.
Because there were people that believed that was the wrong move, boxing Dubois anyway. There was a lot of people felt that Dubois was going to win that fight. With the Ruiz fight, I don't think anyone saw that coming. No one.
So somebody told me that Dubois was going to beat AJ, and it proved to be that way. But the Ruiz defeat was far worse.
Yeah.
Far worse.
Yeah. We'll get into some action from the weekend, but let's have a little clip. Let's have a little look at a clip of Adam Azim speaking and see what we make of this.
Coming very soon.
Okay.
And a lot of people are asking about when I'm next.
Tell Ben to hurry up or you'll be with Frank soon. An awkward silence there. But listen,
you never know, you might be right. So,
Right, besides Hamza getting his spoon in there and stirring it up, what do you make of that?
Listen, I think
Is it the byproduct
I've
of
actually
Ben
bumped
finding-
into Adam Azim. I saw him last week at the fight, and he sort of doesn't know where he's at right now. You know, we're talking about one of the leading prospects of the country here. He doesn't know quite when he's fighting, what's coming up, you know, what the situation is with
Why
boxers.
not?
So you can understand the frustration.
Why
with him.
not?
Yeah, so he's
That's
going,
got to
look,
be the question.
I'm going to have to, you know, get out
But
there.
did you ask him why not then?
Yeah, of course I did.
So what was his answer then? Why don't you understand where you're going?
Because he's waiting to see what Ben Shalom's doing. And Ben
terms-
Shalom's gone...
in terms of
fucking just
broadcasters.
disappeared. Like where has he gone? And in terms of broadcast, in terms of dates, fights, and all that. So, like, I can understand the frustrations of this kid because he had some good momentum with him.
Yeah.
And now he's sort of stuck in no man's land. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him because the longer he's out,
But
the more
it's
difficult
worse
it's
for
going to
him.
become.
Of course it is.
When was the last time he fought? It's not been ages since he last fought.
no, it's not,
It was supposed to fight Oakwell and he got pulled, remember, from that fight.
Yeah.
The British Boxing Board of Control pulled his opponent. So it has been quite a while that he's actually not... And it's
What was the
you
last fight he had?
alluded to.
Howard Davis?
Huh?
What was the last fight he had? Howard Davis?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, is it that long?
Yeah.
Okay,
Gosh.
that's a long time. And look, there'll be a lot of people in this situation. Fraser Clark will be thinking, what's going on? Ben Whittaker will be thinking, what's going on? Caroline Dubois. Ben built a good stable of fighters that will become household names that are going to be like, okay, we're going soon. And there must be something in their contracts where if you don't provide us with employment...
Lipinets in February was the last time.
Lipinets, okay,
Lipinets,
yeah.
okay.
So if you don't provide us with employment in the next few months, we can speak to other promoters. And
I think a lot of these guys, though, correct me if I'm wrong here, Simon, you might know more about it than me, but I think a lot of these guys, their contracts, written into those contracts was this Sky TV deal that they had, and now with Ben Shalom
we don't know
not
that, do we?
seemingly to be on Sky.
We don't know that, but if they did and Ben put
Don't
himself
we?
in that- well, we don't know that, but if Ben allowed that to be the situation, then he's going to reap the whirlwind, isn't he? As a result of the fact he's no longer able to deliver Sky. I would imagine that if Ben's got any brains about him, and some people might question whether he has or he hasn't, right? He would have put in there conditionality around broadcasting rather than a specific broadcaster.
Yeah.
We know that the Josh Boazzi decision was made to leave Eddie and Matchroom because they went to DAZN and he wanted to be on Sky, and that might have been specific to Sky for Josh BOXXER. But if Ben has allowed it to be every contract, Sky specific, he's putting himself in a right state as a hostage to fortune, isn't he?
He would have sold them all on Sky. The reason all these fighters would have signed to him would have been Sky Sports, but not it would be BOXXER and Ben Shalom.
But surely he would have been careful, or maybe he wouldn't, who's to know, that ultimately if he can't deliver Sky because he's not in his gift forever, because he didn't have Sky as his broadcaster in perpetuity, did he?
Yeah.
He would be sensible to put in there, we must broadcast with a mainstream broadcaster, and then allow himself the bandwidth to find it might have been TNT moved to, it might have been DAZN.
Yeah.
Because if he moved to DAZN, would he have immediately lost all his fighters? No, not necessarily. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but and obviously we were universally unhappy with the idea that this fight was going to happen, but we may have to row back on it, which was Manny Pacquiao fighting Mario Barrios. And the performance that he put in, and well, I think he won the fight. I don't know what you think, Duke. What do you think about the whole?
I thought Barrios won.
Did you?
But I thought Barrios won.
Did you?
Yeah, just nicked it. There wasn't a lot in it, Simon, but I thought he nicked it. I wish Manny Pacquiao would walk away from the sport.
What, even that version that we saw him? Because he wasn't the version that we saw him 4 or 5 years ago where he looked done, finished.
Yeah,
I think, look,
he's an old man, he's a granddad.
Do you know what we was all guilty of here? And you as well.
Granddad,
I'm going to bring you in.
No,
what we was all guilty of here is like when everyone's saying, man, that was a terrible decision and Pacquiao was robbed there. Actually, if you rewatch it now, knowing, right, and you take that away from it, the rounds that were going close, and you're right, Duke, what you said there, Barrios probably nicked a lot of those rounds, but we were so engrossed with, I can't believe Pacquiao's doing this, so you were giving him the rounds. So we were sort of guilty of a fight that was very close, and we all went Pacquiao. Because I initially thought Pacquiao won that fight. When I watched it back again, you go, there is an argument for Barrios to have won that. But taking nothing away from Pacquiao...
I don't take nothing away from it.
I think it's a bad reflection on the welterweight division. I know Brian Norman's the king, but how on earth Mario Barrios draws or wins it by a round over someone that's not been in his peak for 15 years?
That's exactly right.
Not fought, but in his peak. Like Pacquiao in his peak was a whirlwind when he fought, Cotto, Hudson, etc.
Right.
It's 15 years ago.
And that's why Barrios going life and death with him? Jumped all over fighting Barrios.
Absolutely.
World title holder.
Yes.
But anyway, let's have a listen to Manny himself before we ruminate further.
Manny, with the way that you performed tonight, did you feel like this was enough to coax Floyd Mayweather out and maybe you guys get a rematch right here in this same building? Do you feel like that this version of you beats the version of Floyd Mayweather that exists today?
It's hard to talk about the fighter who retired already. If he comes out and go sign the contract and we will fight. I mean, let's fight again if he wants. I have no problem with that. I'm active now. I don't pick my opponent. I don't, I fight them all in my weight division.
I mean, pretty soon we're going to start exhuming fighters and getting them to fight.
Them up.
Where are you on that idea, Duke?
No, I would love to see Manny Pacquiao just walk away from the sport. I don't want to see Mayweather against Pacquiao again. Mayweather beat him at his prime, and they were both in it. Yeah, he's done it, and I don't see Mayweather.
You like the idea of that fight, Addy?
You know what it is? No,
it's money,
no. But seeing how many people got excited about the idea of Mike Tyson coming back to fight Jake Paul.
But Manny Pacquiao, silly fools like him who try to sell it as a live one.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather on Netflix would do insane numbers. Yeah, no, I certainly don't want it.
I'd see something. It would not do anywhere near the numbers that Jake Paul, Mike Tyson done. That is for sure, because Mike Tyson is that icon. Like Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. To watch that return of a combined age of nearly 100. No thanks. Like, look, we've seen it once. Like, we don't need to see that again. Come on.
So that's Mike Tyson.
Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to see the ring walk, that's all. Yeah. That's all I sold it on. And I sold it on that, by the way. I said I wanted to see the ring walk.
No, you didn't.
You're rewriting
it. And then I watched it and I went,
but that was the highlight of the fight, though, wasn't it? The ring walk.
Absolutely. Talking about a substantial fight on the weekend, a real substantial fight was Claressa Shields.
Yeah.
That was an impressive performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an impressive performance. Daniel's come to fight, to be fair. She was decent. She had a good game plan. She went on her bike for the first 4 or 5 rounds.
I'm about to say, that was the game plan, to run.
Yeah, but she turned it around, though. She's dug her heels in the second half of the fight. She started holding her ground, putting Claressa on the back foot. And, I thought it was a standout performance again from Claressa. She's the class act, isn't she? See the way she was sort of like picking those body shots. The shot selection is like first class. But look, Daniels had the game plan, but it was just not good enough. And
before we go, we should mention Ryan Garner, not Gloria Gaynor, as you described it earlier on, singing "I Will Survive." But Ryan Garner, I don't know why I even bother opening trap about picking for fights, because whatever fight I pick is the right one. I picked Reece Bellotti because I felt his performance against Michael Gomez Jr. was so impressive. But I undermined the outcomes that Ryan Garner would bring to bear. That was an impressive performance from Ryan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I've sort of learnt to go against whatever you say anyway.
would,
So
yeah.
as soon as you went for Bellotti, I thought, it's a close fight, but I'm going to have to go with Gainer.
Except of course when it's free Oasis tickets, right? Then it's okay for you.
That's a birthday present. That's another conversation. Whole different conversation. But look, I thought, Ryan Garner was a good performance. You can't deny that. I think it was calculated, mate. And I think that what we saw there was that this kid now is on the fringe of world class.
He's on the verge.
The problem he has, very quickly though, in that division is Oshaki Foster, Raymond Ford, Kakachi, Navarrete.
Nobody said he's going to win the world. Nobody said he's going to win the world.
But he's got every single belt, isn't he?
Yeah.
No one said he's going to win it, but he's there.
It's the way he's developing.
He can get a world title.
Good numbers down the South Coast as well. So he's that guy now that can maybe bring boxing back.
But we've seen Ray Ford. I mean, we've seen Ray Ford get beat by Nick Paul, so we know that the Ray Ford that we once, when Nick Paul fought Ray Vargas and won that fight, and Ray Vargas was telling everyone that he was unfortunate he had to fight in Nick Paul's backyard, which no one could quite work out given it was in Saudi. And then we saw Ray Ford lose to Nick Paul. You don't put Ryan Garner in that world of opportunity now
not
to
yet.
name Ray Ford.
Not yet. No, not yet. I mean, there are good fights out there for him, and look, it's Frank, so Frank will manage him correctly. I think he's a couple away from mixing it with that lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Like what we're seeing with Ryan is that he's improving all the time. You know, he's developing British Commonwealth, now European champion. That's going to add to his...
Confidence is going to grow, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. His confidence is going to grow as well. And shot selection now, I thought that was the best I'd seen him by some way.
He boxed quite smart.
If you look at those improvements, you go, the next 12 months, it might be time to let this kid go. You know, let him go. So, look, I think he has a potential to go on. Definitely. He's definitely become a world-class fighter.
Good luck to him. Right, that's it for episode 131 of Talk Boxing with Simon Jordan Spencer. Thank you to Duke. And thank you for muscling in Addy when you weren't wanted. Of course you were wanted. And we'll see everyone next week.